One thing that's almost certain is that when Dragon Ball Super returns, it is going to cover the Galactic Patrol arc, which is the arc or storyline currently being covered in the official Dragon Ball Super manga. Now, the first half of Dragon Ball Super did a great job at introducing and establishing new characters like Whis, Beerus, Jiren, even Champa, Kale, Caulifla, Kefla. These are all new characters that were introduced and now fit nicely in the Dragon Ball mythos. The one thing that the first half of Dragon Ball Super could have done better, however, is forwarding the development of already established characters. Goku and Vegeta saw a lot of development, and maybe even Android 17, but other well-established, much-loved characters like Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, even Trunks and Goten. For the most part, these guys saw little to no change or development throughout the entire first part of Dragon Ball Super. But now, with the Galactic Patrol arc, it's starting to look like the lack of development for already established characters is something that the show creators are aware of and are trying to correct. Starting with a character that is in most need of development from Dragon Ball Z. That character is Oob. Now, before we go any further, who exactly is Oob? Well, Oob was introduced in the 28th World Martial Arts Tournament in the final episode of Dragon Ball Z. The episode ends with Goku agreeing to leave his family and go train Oob for a few years. The reason why Goku decided to do that is because he realized that Oob was the reincarnation of the strongest opponent they ever fought in Dragon Ball Z, Majin Buu. More specifically, Oob was the reincarnation of half of Majin Buu, the evil or chaotic side of Buu, Kid Buu. The other half is obviously Good Buu or Fat Buu. He became friends with Hercule. Now, Kid Buu was so strong that when Goku finally managed to defeat him with the help of Vegeta and everyone else on Earth through a spirit bomb, Goku silently wished that Kid Buu would be reincarnated someday to a good guy so that he can fight him again. King Yama heard Goku's wish and reincarnates Buu to Oob, which is just Buu spelled backwards. Alright, now that you're all caught up, I also want to mention that Dragon Ball Super did not forget about Oob. He's been mentioned twice in the series so far, setting him up for a reintroduction. Once in episode 30, when Goku and Vegeta were trying to get more people for the Universal Tournament, Goku mentions Oob, and both Goku and Vegeta seem to be well aware of who Oob was. They both knew he was a reincarnation of Buu and said it in the show. Vegeta even said he's too young to fight in the tournament. And again, they mentioned Oob in episode 86. This time, Dende is telling Goku about Oob, and at first Goku doesn't know who he's talking about. But as soon as Dende mentioned the person being a reincarnation of Buu, then Goku is well aware. He says he looks forward to meeting him someday. The manga, however, took it even further and showed us images of young Oob and his village. The point is, the show creators did not forget about Oob, and his reintroduction is something that they have been building towards all the way back since episode 30. Okay, so based off his origin and taking into account Goku's wish, I think it's fair to assume that Oob has all of Kid Buu's power latent within him somewhere. That's why Oob was born much stronger than the average human, and that's why Goku agreed to train him, pretty much to help Oob draw out and control that power that's already latent within him. Okay, so I'm gonna get to the point. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. In some of the most recent Dragon Ball Super manga chapters, which again the anime is likely going to follow when it returns, we've learned quite a bit more new information about Majin Buu, mainly his relationship with the Daio Kaioshin and what happened to Buu after he absorbed that powerful god. Just as a quick recap, millions of years ago, when Buu was first woken up from his slumber by Bibidi, their goal was to destroy all the Kais, all the gods from our universe, from Universe 7. We now know that would have also destroyed Beerus, but that's a different video for a different time. When Buu destroyed the Daio Kaioshin, also known as the Grand Supreme Kai, also known as the Lord of Lords, Buu destroyed him by absorbing him. And because the Daio Kaioshin had such a pure soul, it influenced Buu's dark, hatred-filled soul, which changed evil Majin Buu into Fat Buu. Now, during his fight against Goku and company, when Buu split, the Daio Kaioshin power and influence that was dormant within Majin Buu also split. According to chapter 49 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Fat Buu or Good Buu, he took the appearance and apparently now the memories of the Daio Kaioshin during that split, while from the same split, Kid Buu took the Daikaioshin's god power or god ki. This is a big deal because, like we just established, Oob is a reincarnation of Kid Buu, which means that god power, that god ki, is likely latent within Oob. So, ladies and gentlemen, with Oob, when he learns to control his latent power, we are likely going to see the birth of the first human god. Something that's really interesting is that one of the major differences between the Kais, the angels, and the gods of destruction is that the gods of destructions are born as mortals, and they are then granted access to God Ki. Whereas the angels and the Kais, they are born a god because they are born with the ability to use God Ki. If Oob was really born with God Ki latent within him, I'm not too sure where that puts him on the spectrum of godhood. Okay, so what does this all mean for Oob? Well, the reason why all of this got revealed was because the Daikaioshin in Majin Buu's body realized that he couldn't seal Moro because he no longer had access to his God Ki. And that's why they told us those powers must have went to Kid Buu. If that's the case, then the obvious next step here may be to use a young Oob to help reseal Moro. Although I don't think that will happen. I don't think Oob, who is about 5 years old right now in Dragon Ball Super, by the way, I don't think he is going to be involved in the Galactic Patrol arc at all. Unless the arc extends for more than 5 years, like there's a time skip or something like that. The reason is because, remember I told you guys that the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, there was a 10-year time skip. And in that episode, it appeared that Goku, Vegeta, they were meeting Oob for the first time. So that wouldn't make sense if they interact with him now to stop Moro. Also, if the Daikaioshin could seal Moro, there's no reason why Whis or Beerus shouldn't be able to handle Moro themselves without Oob having to get involved at all. What I think this all means, and this is just my personal opinion, but I think this means that we are going to see Oob play a much bigger role in the future of Dragon Ball Super. Now, it's impossible to say with absolute certainty how this is all going to turn out for Oob, but we can make a few educated guesses. For example, there's a good chance that we may see the introduction of Majuub. Who is Majuub, you may be asking? Well, Majuub is a character from Dragon Ball GT, who is pretty much the fusion between Oob and Fat Buu. So we pretty much have the two halves of Buu reconnected. This was a huge power up for Oob in Dragon Ball GT, and you can imagine why. It's almost like he's becoming whole again. His fusion with Fat Buu and becoming Majuub was one of the few really significant key points of development in Oob's character other than being trained by Goku. So even though Dragon Ball GT is non-canon, because we've seen characters like Broly and Gogeta move from non-canon mediums to the official canon story, and because that moment was such a big deal for Oob, I think it's likely that we're gonna see that moment recreated and Majuub reintroduced in Dragon Ball Super in some way after Oob becomes a more established character. If they take that route, it's almost instant justification for Oob being able to compete with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. It's likely that not only would Oob be incredibly strong, but he may also possess the memories and the life experiences of the Daikaioshin, the Lords of Lords. That's an incredibly big deal. Consider for a second that the Daikaioshin was able to outsmart and seal Moro millions of years ago, and now, I mean, I hate to say it, but Moro is pretty much mopping the floor with Goku and Vegeta. Physically, they may be stronger than him, but they really can't keep up with his magic and his techniques. So if Oob was able to gain knowledge and techniques that rival Moro, that's a pretty big deal. And that'll be a massive character to inject into the Z Warriors. So what do you guys think about all this? A pretty solid chance that we're going to see the first human god in the series. If you made it this far in the video, hashtag human god in the comments below. How do you guys feel about Oob overall though, as a character? Are you excited that he's going to be reintroduced to the series, or do you feel like it doesn't really matter? Either way, let me know below. I'm really curious because I have no idea how big or small the Oob fan base is. Lastly, I just want to thank you guys, Dude Crew. Big thank you to everyone who's purchased the Yamoshi book so far. You guys are amazing. There's been nothing but positive feedback. Everyone that's received it seemed to love it so far, and I want to do something special for everyone who purchased it. I'm likely going to do a special gift, but I gotta work out the logistics of it. The winner of the book from the last video was already chosen. Let's do a brand new giveaway right now. This one is going to be a little bit more difficult, but I know some of you guys are gonna be able to get it. Before Goku, Oob likely had another teacher. His name starts with King, that's King, and he's someone who Goku interacted with, fought against in Dragon Ball. Here's one more clue. This teacher or potential teacher or sensei of Oob is a master of the 8-handed technique. First one to comment the answer in the comment section below gets a free copy of the book. I'll mail it to your address anywhere in the US. Again, Dooku, thank you guys so much for the support. Have a great day. I will be talking to you again real soon. Bye.